Okay, I hope the images will come back. I'm a project manager, consultant and trainer and teacher in circular economy and circular design. I help companies and organizations to define and implement circular economy strategies in the field of culture, but also sports, furniture design, architecture, and different creative field. But okay, you don't have the images, so I'm sorry. I will not translate the little not translate that. Okay. I wanted to start with the 9 boundaries. I don't know if you heard about that. Yes, I'm sure is okay. There is 9 processes that regulate the stability and resilience of the Earth system. And as you know, crossing boundaries increases the risk of generating large-scale abrupt or irreversible environmental change. And in September 2003, we crossed 6 boundaries. Yes, and we in these boundaries we don't speak about the resources, material resources, and the waste, and to me it's important. Okay, I can't. I just wanted to show the boundaries to introduce the circular economy. And before to explain the circular economy, we have to first talk about the linear models and its limitation.
Gaëlle,
yes.
is it clear for everyone the different limits, what they are and what they mean? Or no? Okay. So Gaëlle, can you explain maybe what are the 6 boundaries that have been crossed in September 2023?
Okay, so there is 9 boundaries, like the climate change. Everybody has heard about the climate change, but this is not the main. Yes, this is the main topic, but there is a lot of boundaries to not cross, like the biosphere integrity, the land system change, mainly due to the construction, architecture, and the deforestation. I don't know if this is a good term in English, deforestation.
Yeah, and land system change is what you heard about when you heard about artificialization.
Yes.
When you put some concrete instead of keeping the land for grass and oui, Bruno?
A little tip for those who have a Zoom on their computer: it's possible to enlarge on the different visuals of the presentation by just using your fingers and enlarge this gesture. So if you want to see one visual big, it's possible. Just wanted to tell you.
Yeah, thank you.
We have also biogeochemical flows. It's due to the disruption of the nitrogen and phosphorus cycles.
Yeah, basically it's pollution. It's
pollution. Yes, due to fertilizer and intensive agriculture mainly. You have also ocean acidification, atmospheric aerosol landing, or stratospheric ozone depletion. And the novel entities in the biosphere, like les OGM, modified OGM. I don't know the translation of that. GMOs are radioactive yes, radioactive ores. And I'm so sorry for my English, really.
No problem, Gaëlle. It's
okay. And the boundary we crossed in September is the freshwater change, and especially the freshwater use, the blue water. There is two limits in this boundary: green water and blue water. The green water is the water absorbed by the forests and yeah, l'humidité, the humidification we have in the air, and the evapotranspiration. This is the cycle of the green water. And the fresh water, the blue water, is the water in the lake, in the rivers, and the water we can find in the
water we can use to drink, basically.
Yes, and the water we can use to drink. Okay, so we crossed this 6 years limit.
So
September.
that means that the water cycle is really in danger, and it means that our water supplies are also in danger.
Yes, and when we cross a boundary, it's not all white or all black. These limits just show us what the humanity should not exceed to not compromise the favorable condition in which we developed, and not cross these boundaries can offer a sustainable life, a safe ecosystem. So avoiding, in other words, if we cross the boundaries, there is a more difficult to predict changes to the planetary environment. I don't know if it's clear.
Yeah, it means that if we cross all the boundaries, our living abilities on Earth will be endangered also. So we are crossing the condition of the human life on Earth. It means, but you know, the limit boundaries, it's linked to the donuts economic model that Tristan from the Teatro di Lausanne presented you. It means that this is a ceiling that we should not cross, and we already cross it. But we can continue, Gaëlle, if you want.
Okay. And yes, this is only environmental boundaries, but there is also social boundaries present in the economy frame. So to explain the circular economy, it's important to talk about the linear system. I'm sure you know the linear system. The well-known take, make, use, and throw away. The first stage of the linear model is the extraction of raw materials, and followed by the manufacture of goods, the distribution, the use, and finally disposal, mainly throw away. This model leads several limits, and at the beginning of the line we have an overexploitation of resources, and at the end of the line and throughout the line a lot of waste, pollution, and loss of value, the term of wastage. To be more specific, since 1970s, the global extraction has more than tripled. In 2018, it's 92 billion tons of resources extracted worldwide. So just imagine a wall around the Earth, 10 meter wide and 250 meter height. It leads a lot of biodiversity loss, stress water, and geopolitical conflicts, supply chain strains, scarcity increasing, rises pricing about the materials, etc., etc. On the diagram, you can see the augmentation of the extraction of resources, and if we continue like that, in 2060 we need 220 billion ton to make goods, and planet cannot offer that. Just to have an image, to manufacture a 10 kilogram microwave, we need 2 tons of materials. We need water, we need ores, we need minerals, fossil fuel, etc., etc. And I like this photography of Dylan Marsh, who shows us a copper bowl in a mine, and this is a not so big bowl of copper inside a huge large mine. Okay, so this is the beginning of the line, and at the end of the line, we can notice an increasing waste production. And throughout the value chain, the extraction, production, distribution, and disposal activities generate a great deal of waste and a significant loss of value. In France, for example, today, you have the explanation here. 342 billion of wastes in French. 5.1 kilogram per habitant, and in the worldwide, we waste like 20 billion tons. We throw away 20 billion tons of waste. Other things to know, nowadays, 28% of waste collected in France is landfilled. We buried waste, and only 6% are incinerate, and 66% are recycling. So how can we optimize?
Gaëlle, si sur la slide d'avant, these numbers, it seems the level of recycling is really high.
Yes.
But I remember hearing that we were really bad in France at recycling, and so. And
if you look more, it's backfilling. So you have the waste of construction in it, and the construction wastes are recycled and backfilling. So we put les gravats des immeubles as a remblai on the streets mainly.
Okay.
So that's why the recycling
level is high.
Yes.
But if we think about the recycling level of waste that we use at the consumer, like what we throw in the yellow bin, like plastic, paper, etc., I think this percentage is really low.
It's really low. Oh, it depends, but the impact is more due to the we need a lot of new material, like new plastic to recycling old plastic. For example, we need 2 new bottle of plastic if you want to make 1 recycling bottle, and a lot of water, etc., etc. And yes, the level is not really transparent because we don't know everything in this in the recycling field in France. Yes.
And you can only recycle transparent plastic. You cannot recycle plastic bottles that are colored, and
Yes.
you can only recycle them once.
We can recycling colored plastic, but we don't want, because it's not a good marketing thing.
Okay, because after it will be like black or
Yes,
okay.
all the good plastic are recycling in bin bags.
Okay.
Like industrial plastic with high quality, like PET or very good plastic. Industrial waste are recycling in bin bag, and it's terrible because this is a huge waste of value.
Okay.
And yes, we recycling plastic in the oh, ça va être trop compliqué en anglais.
Okay.
Polar.
Dis-le-moi en français puisque
Dans les polaires, on peut recycler du plastique dans les
for clothes.
Yeah, for clothes. Et je sais pas si tu vois les petites barquettes en polystyrène avec le couvercle là transparent.
Les barquettes en polystyrène.
Les barquettes dans lesquelles on met le poulet, des trucs comme ça.
Ok. Yeah.
Ouais. Alors les bouteilles en plastique sont recyclées dans ce petit film qui lui-même ne sera pas recyclé plus tard.
Okay. And recycled plastic cannot be recycled again. If you buy a recycled plastic bottle, even if you throw it in the good bin, it won't be recycled because it's already been recycled, or it can once again be recycled.
It could be recycling, but it's not because of the lack of evolution of the industrial recycling machines. And also when you have a pizza cardboard, if there is 2 grease on it, it can't be recycling.
Okay.
The recycling is not a good thing.
Okay.
It demands a lot of energy, a lot of water, a lot of transport, and this is the last loop to do in circular economy. But I
last resort when you cannot do anything.
The last
else.
resort,
okay.
Exactly.
Thank you, sorry for interrupting.
No problem. Don't hesitate. So how can we optimize the use of natural resources and limit waste and environmental impacts while preserving the well-being of people? We have the circular economy. So the circular economy is a system where materials never become waste and nature is regenerated. The aim of circular economy is to keep products and materials in circulation through several processes, like the eco-design, for example. With the focus on design, we can eliminate the concept of waste. For example, we can reduce the quantity of material used. We can sourcing locally or renewable materials, and think the goods which can be repaired or shared or something like that. The main topic is reducing resource consumption and preserving ecosystem through eco-design, responsible sourcing, and optimizing operation. And the first resilience loop is use project more frequently and consume less with the collaborative economy, the sharing economy, and pooling. For example, the ride-share apps like Mobicop in France, the crowdfunding platform, room rental service, and peer-to-peer marketplace. This is the most virtuous loop. Use project more frequently. For example, in a block of flats, all the residents have a drill that they use for an average of only 10 minutes per month, I think. And if we have only one drill for all the residents, we could preserve the extraction of new materials and optimize the use of the drill, of the objects already in circulation. So this is the most efficient loop. I wanted to talk about Les Biens en Commun, a French initiative in Lyon, which aimed to share goods in residencies. The second loop is prolonging the use of products and their components through repair and maintenance. In France, we have, for example, the repair cafes, or again, Patagonia, well known to share tutorials to repair the clothes. Another loop is extending the life of projects and components. The other loop is really on the project and the component. Extending life of project and component in good condition through reuse, sale, or donation. So you have a marketplace for second-hand goods, for example, Le Bon Coin or Emmaüs Solidarity in France, marketplace more involved in the professional ways. Bacacia is in a bit construction field. Then you can extend in the life of components through remanufacturing, refurbishing, or upcycling. So refurbishing by dismantling and remanufacturing, or creating new projects from components or material. Everybody here has a phone which came from back markets, I'm sure. And the last option is recycling, where only the material is recovered, not the objects or its components, but only the material. And when parts cannot be remanufactured, can be broken down into their constituent materials and recycled. This is the frame from Ellen MacArthur Foundation, where we show the technical loop in blue, the loop I explained. And you have also biological
loop
sorry,
also.
loop also. And there is more about regeneration with compost or biogas. And if you have any question, do not hesitate, and ask Héloïse to the translation. It's okay? Okay. I wanted to share you also the 4R strategy. The waste treatment hierarchy. We use it a lot in France because it's part of the law. And dans la Commission européenne aussi, it's since 2008, it's an obligation for all the company in European community. You have to do this first. Reduce, so prevention, sharing, repair, mainly to avoid waste. Then you have the reuse strategy. We call it réemployer. It's not waste. And when the goods is binned or put in a waste infrastructure, for example, when the good is classified as waste, you can repurpose, réutiliser. I don't know if the difference between these two terms is mainly okay for everyone in European Union. I don't find the good translation, but I try to.
Maybe if you can clarify the difference between reuse and repurpose. It's
yes.
like reuse, the good doesn't change, and you put it, you give it a second life by giving to someone else to use, but the good doesn't change. And we say repurpose, that you change the good or you transform it into doing something else, or?
Yes, there is two definition in a design way. Reuse, you reuse the good for the same use, and you reuse the goods for another use. For example, you have this door. When you take off the door of
its
house,
frame,
for example, and you put it as a door in a new house, this is reusing. When you take the door and you
make it a table.
Yes, you make it a table. It's not reusing, but it's repurposing.
Okay.
In a design way. And when you throw and destroy the door to make just a wood copper and a new wood panel, it's recycling.
Okay.
But in the French law, there is another definition. Reuse, you can use the door like a door or like a bench or a deck. But if the door is put in a bin, a bin, it's classified as waste, and you cannot reuse it, but you have to repurpose it. You have to pass in the hands of new people called valorists.
Okay.
And you have to declassify the waste. And en France, on dit enfin, sortir du réemploi, mince, j'ai oublié le terme. Préparation en vue du réemploi. You have to prepare to the repurpose.
Okay. So it means the French law is a bit complicated
Yes.
to help with reuse, to help the circular economy.
Yes, but you can create new jobs like that with that. That's
okay.
For is written like that. And then you have recycling, and the two last solution are not solution, like incinerate, mainly known like energy from waste, and landfill. The good word is storage, but you have to delete this term of your vocabulary. Okay. So the 7 pillars, the circular economy à la française. We love make new frame and new diagram. In France, l'ADEME, the Environmental Transition Agency, shows different pillars to explain the circular economy. And I wanted more specific to show you the diagram adapted by an association for the cultural sector. We have 8 pillars for the cultural sector. And it's a good framework to have in mind for writing a circular roadmap if you need. There is 3 main domains. In blue, the offer from economics players. In pink, the audience and general public demand and behavior. And in green, the waste management. So what can offer the cultural organization? First, sobriety and sustainable purchasing. So how can we reduce the impact of our purchases on the extraction and the consumption of natural resources? We can also measuring impacts at the design stage and throughout the project life. For example, the scenography, the props, the costume, etc. This is the eco-design part. Designing for a longer lifespan, optimizing materials, using products more sparingly, etc., etc. Also, you can developing local synergy, notamment substitution synergy. One player's waste is another player's resource. And mutual support. How can you develop a synergy and sharing knowledge, sharing resources, sharing spaces, etc., etc. between local players. And then you have, alors, je ne sais pas du tout pour la traduction, economy of functionality, like performance model. With that, you're selling the use of a good rather than the good itself. It's a from product to service strategy. You give priority to long-term rental system.
And if you want an example, is like selling maybe instead of selling books, you sell the right to read the book, but you don't sell the book so that the book can be read by many people. It doesn't exist, but it could be like an abonnement. How do you say abonnement, Bruno or Nicolas?
Subscription.
A subscription to an amount of book that you can you're able to read. But you buy the service, not the good.
Michelin do that with les pneus. How do you say pneu?
Tire.
Tire, yeah.
Tire, yes. They don't sell tires, but they sell les kilomètres parcourus. Too hard to explain in English, sorry.
Kilometers made or kilometers drive.
Yeah.
I think they get the idea, don't worry.
Okay, cool. The second domain is the general public demands and behavior. how can we manage and raising public and stakeholders awareness? So changing the behavior of the public, changing the behavior of producer, service provider to move toward more responsible practice. You can also have a committed programming, promoting ecological transition by raising awareness through cultural media. And the extension of useful life, giving a second life to resources and objects, like as we said before, repair, reuse, repurpose, sets, costumes, scenographies, etc., etc. And the final results, the waste management. You have to think about that in your workshop, for example, or in your organization. How can you improve the waste prevention, management, and recycling? And I have some examples. Okay. Is that clear for everyone?
Yes, for me, yes.
Okay. I chose some inspirational example about the first pillar. The Malakoff Art Center, who cut off its energy supplies for 7 months of experiments, not 7, 5 months experiments without water, electricity, and gas. They had to rethink communication without the internet. For example, picking people off the streets, rethink the programmation without electricity. The openings, for example, not by nights but by days. All the artworks were made without any fluids, no transport, no electricity, etc., etc. On the website, you can see the experiments and the retour d'expérience. Also the Opéra National de Bordeaux, who is involved in a zero purchase production approach to make the most of in-house stock, reuse existing materials, set, costume, etc., prevent new resourcing extraction, and it offers a new creative framework for directors, set designers, and technical directors too. They do that since 1 year and a half, and mainly because they don't have a lot of money anymore. So the environmental approach is linked to the economical needs for the Opéra National de Bordeaux. In the eco-conception or eco-design pillar, you have to measure the impact to reduce them. And in France, we have several organizations who develop tools, impact measurement tools, and making decision tools. For example, Arviva, an association for the performing arts, who developed seeds and impact measurement tools for the performing arts, specifically.
They will. Arviva is going to present their tool seeds next week in this for this team.
Okay, cool. So it's perfect. And several organizations develop tools for their own needs. For example, le Théâtre de l'Odéon or Le Théâtre de l'Aquarium is using seeds, but is trying to develop their own. Ecoseno in Montreal develop also tools, and you can see the Jolie's bicycle measurement tools too. And there is Carbon Prod also in France, who make analyze life cycle analysis.
Is it clear for everyone the difference, but maybe we will talk about it next week, between life cycle analysis and carbon footprint?
I'm a bit lost, I have to be honest. So I'm very happy that you have asked. So if we can speak more about that next week, I will be very happy.
Okay, we will. I think we will really enter into what is a carbon footprint, what is a life cycle analysis next week. But maybe quickly into us, can you explain it, Gaëlle, or is it?
Yes, in carbon footprints, you measure mainly the carbon impacts, and in life cycle analysis, you measure the 17 impacts, all through the cycle, the life cycle. I think I have.
So in a life cycle analysis, you take into account the pollution of the water, of the soil, the
Yes.
impact on biodiversity. It's not just carbon.
Yes, I have a lot of I have other slide on it if you want. Up. No. Yeah, there is 17 impacts. You have the climate change. It's mainly the nine boundaries, and we measure the impact on the ozone stratospheric couche, the acidification of the ocean, etc., etc. There is 17 impacts, and you measure these impacts all in the life cycle. So at the extraction of the raw material, at the step of the making, the step of distribution, the step of using, and life. So it's called a three steps approach, an approach multi-steps, multi-component, and multi-indicator. Sorry for the translation. Is that clear?
Yes, I feel it is a bit more clear now, and your English is pretty good, really, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it's important to keep in mind the steps of the life cycle, and yes, because 80% of the environmental costs are fixed at the design stage, and this is at the design stage you decide which kind of raw material you want to use, how you transform, how you making the goods, how you transport it and distribute it, how it can be used, and how it can be repair or compost or something like that.
Yeah, and it's the same for the way of integrating the climate and energy stakes into the production of shows and creation. It has to be thought at the beginning of the process, so at the design process of every project. So it's the
Yes.
same. You won't have a tour show which will be eco-friendly if you didn't think about it really early, because you will have maybe a bigger budget, because train sadly is still more expensive than plane. Maybe your team will have to travel longer, so it's really a process that needs to be thought really earlier.
And I have other, yes, I wanted to share you this frame, but I have to translate it for you. This is a frame I wrote for the Teatro de l'Aquarium. I speak about that later. But this is some question the Teatro de l'Aquarium ask themselves to reduce impact all along the life cycle of the theater sets. I will share you this presentation. Okay, another inspirational example is the standardization of le collectif 17h25. In this collective, French collective, you have le Festival d'Aix, le Théâtre du Châtelet, l'Opéra de Lyon, l'Opéra de Paris et la Monnaie de Bruxelles. And they are in experimentation. Yes, nowadays in experimentation to find the more reusing and the more sustainable sets. And yes, they want to create a repertoire of standardized scenographic elements and components because they work together. And the show are presented in each house, and to reduce the transports and reduce the weights and reduce the waste. They wanted to identify which kind of pieces of scenographic elements can be not put in transport, but stay in houses and not be transported. I don't know if I'm clear, but yes, they wanted to create a repertoire of standardized elements, and it's one of several strategy of eco-design, but it's a good one. In the reusing. At the state of the design, you think about a standardized element.
And maybe what you can tell is they developed this kind of standardization set because one of the breaks that the field of operas and really big stage were putting in front was, but every stage are different, so we can't adapt the same scenography, so we can't reuse the scenographic stuff. So this project was also to address these criticisms. I was like, okay, what if we make like a process that every stage can use, so that we won't have this critic and we will be able to reuse the scenographic elements.
Yes. It's a good project to follow and very inspirational. They have funding, they raise funding to do that. About the extending life pillar, you have the French ressourcerie. So I didn't find the English term for that. But you can put materials, scenery, props, and furniture back into circulation and give them second life. With these places which resale, reuse, and share this element. In France, you have the RESAC. It's a network of this ressourcerie, reusing places, or I didn't find a translation. Mainly involved in the artistic and cultural field, only in for the cultural players. And so this is Le Ressac, very interesting for the houses and theaters and artists. You have also Kajibig, more involved in the location and the mutualization of sets and scenic goods. Or again, Plint is a marketplace between art galleries to resale or sharing the scenographic elements of contemporary art exhibition. Another strategy is to raising awareness of all the stakeholders and how can we give more skills to people. So I wanted to share you the example of LeCake Lab scenography with 4R. And this is a professional, collaborative, and forward-looking network for thinking about eco-scenography in the cultural sector. So we are like, I don't know, 80 professional, individual, or organization. And we think about all these topics. What are the problem, the issues, and how can we raise, comment est-ce qu'on peut dépasser ces problèmes, trouver des solutions, find solution to this problem, between how can we find solution with the co-creativity and l'intelligence collective, the collective
intelligence. Yeah.
Collective intelligence. There is several workshop, rencontres, time to think. And the last last week, and we were thinking about the responsibility chain in the reuse with a lawyer in this field. So yes, we do a lot of workshop and rencontres about topic very specific. The next one will be in the ignification issues in the reusing. So it's important to speak with the other structure and find solution together. Another example about the programming commitments. I wanted to share you the l'Opéra de Montpellier example, a commission they passed to Russell Applewhite, composer, an opera called Climat. We speak about the climatic issues. So you can also do things with your programmation.
Maybe Gaëlle, I don't know if you have a lot of example, but maybe we can have a quick break, a little coffee break for 5 minutes, and then
Yes.
you can talk about the aquarium theater, and we will have some maybe exchange between ourselves. Is it okay for you? Or?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Okay. There is some key issues facing the French cultural sector. It's important to notice these issues. First one is raising around awareness of public partners, service providers, team. It's very important, and direction. And the design offices, developing training for professional and students in the sector is also a big topic nowadays. Also, how can we set up public and private funding to support the transition? In France, the cultural sector is mainly subsidized. I don't know.
Subsidies.
Subsidies. Thank you.
In France, the cultural sector lives of public subsidies mainly.
And these public subsidies are not, again, written with environmental goals. So it's complicated to find good financial support. We need experimentation and feedback to test and disseminate new circular methods, create knowledge, remove obstacles, and scale them up locally, mainly. We need also to develop mutual aid and the sharing of knowledge and data. When you measure impacts of structure, it's important to share this impact with the other structure to don't have to do a lot of measurements, but with one we can see where we have to change our way of I don't know, thinking, making something. We need to develop legislation and the legislation of copyright, facing the lack of legal framework. How can we enable reuse and new practices, insurance for reuse materials, fireproofing, traceability, responsibility chain, and copyright. We need to co-create, share, and generalize tools for measuring impacts of the design, and also promoting and supporting the creation of a new profession. So I found translation for profession is rebreather, mean recycler. And in France, we have the valoriste, a new job born in the reuse strategy, le valoriste, and l'UDS, l'Union des scénographes, and le RESAC, the framework of the ressourcerie, fights to create this job, and fight for this job would be recognized by the government, mainly in the cultural ministry, to be financial supported for this job. Is that clear? Yeah. And I wanted to finish my presentation with the Teatro de l'Aquarium Circular Economy project. This is a 3-year experimental project. So
first, maybe Gaëlle, if you just we can precise what is the Théâtre de l'Aquarium.
yes,
It's a theater near Paris.
in Paris,
In Paris.
because the wood, le Vincennes wood, is in
Yes.
Paris.
Okay. It's in the middle of a wood in the near the periphery of Paris, and it's a stage for mainly musical shows and performances. It's a bit alternative. I don't know how you say, but it's in a former in a former factory, so it has a lot of it's unusual. It's an unusual stage.
Yes, and in this area, in this former factory, you have 5 theaters. Well-known, the Théâtre du Soleil of Ariane Mouchkine. Maybe you know this theater. And in the La Cartoucherie de Vincennes, this place is called La Cartoucherie. You have 5 theaters: le Théâtre de l'Épée de Bois, le Théâtre de l'Aquarium, le Théâtre du Soleil, and I don't remember the last one. And
Théâtre de la Tempête.
Théâtre de la Tempête, yes, exactly. And yes, as you said, there is a lot of different kind of show, mainly alternative. And le Théâtre de l'Aquarium accueille have each year like 15 companies in residencies to help them to create shows and create sets, etc., etc. So this is a place to diffuse to show broadcast shows, but also to help to made shows. The theater has 2 scenes: a workshop, workshop, yes, manufacturing workshop, and of sets, costumes, and props. And le Théâtre de l'Aquarium called me in 2021 to help them to implement circularity in their project. And we imagined a 3-year experimental project to identify the main issues and try to pass them and try to find solution by the experimentation. We decide to act on 4 main lines of action. We wanted to create and implement a ressourcerie and a sustainable manufacturing workshop and an awareness and training hub in responsible, sustainable, and eco-design live performance. We wanted to put the materials in circulation and yes, have less impact on them, and also transmitting the approach and deliverables. I'm writing a replicable methodology. We will be share for everyone into next year. I have to start. No, I have start also. And we wanted to develop local partnership with the player in the Bois de Vincennes and in Paris, and with the other theaters to share workshop, machines, materials, space, knowledge, etc., etc. So the 4 main lines of action are the first part is to create the ressourcerie and develop the cooperation, the local cooperation. The theater have an in-house stock very big, with a lot of sets, a lot of furniture, a lot of costume and props. So to develop this resourcery, we have to do the inventory and the characterization of the stock, fitting out the spaces, develop the operational organization. What are the material flows? Do we have to collect other goods? And we donate and sell them to the company in residence, but also to general public. What kind of monitoring indicators can we invent? And how can we develop a territorial local cooperation? The second part is the responsible set making workshop, the manufacturing workshop, to support the artistic companies which are in residency in the theater. The goals here are to train them to the eco-design approach and the responsible manufacturers of manufacture of their scenography, working with the resourcery. So we develop raising residents awareness protocol throughout to support them throughout the project. The workshop is we have a lot of several machines in the workshop and several I don't know explanation to form them to train them to the reuse construction design with the life cycle approach, etc. And the development of project monitoring tools, and tools for measuring the impact of the sets, mainly with seeds that you will discover next week. The part 3 is to develop participatory action in research and skill development. Le Théâtre de l'Aquarium leads and hosts action research session. I spoke about the atelier RRR from the LeCake Lab scenography, but the Théâtre hosts also several workshops on the endless frame, for example, or hosting other professional and public events. And the last part is the programming, awareness raising, and public. How can we design and run awareness raising events and courses for different audiences? So for the professional and the residents, we have a path especially designed for them, but also a student path. We work with several universities and design school and setup schools like ENSAD, École nationale des arts décoratifs, or La Sorbonne, etc. And the general public pass with des journées portes ouvertes, public journée portes ouvertes, and a festival, le festival called Bruit. The time the residents shows broadcasts their show, and we can speak about the project, the Economy circular project.